And that's with zero marketing on a Tuesday. I'm sorry to say it, but I think it's high time we all face the unfortunate fact that we are but 2-bit side characters in a Todd Howard isekai story. 182,000 concurrents. Well, if there existed any doubt as to whether or not there were a lot of people out there ready, willing, and eager to throw themselves into a good old-fashioned, old-school, first-person open-world RPG, well, I think we've answered that question, that doubt, quite concisely at this point, and it has been a bit of a masterclass in how to release a video game in the current day, albeit a masterclass that can only be repeated if you have a title with sufficient pedigree, mind you. This would not work for the majority of titles, as we gotta talk about a couple of things here. One of the first and most salient points is, it's quickly become a bit of a battleground. If you go to the Steam forums right now, last time I checked, over half of the topics on the first page were basically this: people arguing over the body types and either being happy for it or being upset by it. Oblivion has become, virtually instantaneously, a full-on battlefield, with some going, transphobic tears make me happy, body type 1 and 2, deal with it transphobes, we're represented in this game. Which isn't actually true, mind you. See, that's kind of the problem here. Yes, that isn't male or female, but you still have a binary choice that in essence does absolutely nothing. If you pick body type 1, which is the female, then all of the characters in the world will treat you like you're female. They will call you she. They will refer to you with feminine pronouns and so on. The whole body type 1 and 2 thing is, well, you can certainly argue woke, and I have done so in the past and will do so indeed now. See, there is no reason to have body type 1 and 2 in a game. It is not a value-neutral decision. It is absolutely a tip of the hat towards the progressive movement, no doubt about it, especially when it is so completely shallow as in this game, where you simply are given a binary choice, and the entirety of the game will then move on to treat you as male or female. Never at any point beyond the character creation even acknowledging body type 1 or 2. It is, again, absolutely a tip in the left's direction, but it is so unfathomably shallow, so incredibly base level and utterly unaffecting of the rest of the game that I kinda just don't care at this point. It's 2025. If this is the worst I've gotta deal with, shrug. And it's already been modded out as well, incidentally. Female and male body types. Now, let's talk about a little bit of the other stuff as well, because the modding thing is probably like the biggest kick in the nuts. The fact that Bethesda came out and said they would not be officially supporting mods for the game. Now, people have read a lot into that, going like, oh, they're not going to allow mods, so they're going to go after mods, etc. I don't think so. At the very least, it would be an enormous mistake to do so. And apparently, despite being in the Unreal Engine now, the game seems rather moddable, with people also having fixed the avowed filter, which is by far my biggest complaint, incidentally, or, well, graphically speaking anyways, as the game does indeed have that weird brown tint that all modern video games seem to have these days. It too has been modded into a far more vibrant color pattern. Now, it's still not quite the Oblivion I remember in terms of bloom and presentation, but it is a hell of a lot better, and no doubt about it. We also have the Sky Oblivion team, which I made this post. Imagine being the Sky Oblivion mod team right now. Because if I was them, my reaction would be simply just to scream. I gotta say, like, you've been working on this for what, like, 8-7 years at this point? And then the company who made the original game just comes out, drops this product on the table. It sells like overpriced plastic in Nottingham. Yeah, I think screaming would be my go-to reaction. However, apparently, I've been told by lots of people in the replies to this that the crew that made the Oblivion remaster have been incredibly chill about it, even sending the mod team copies of the game, like Steam keys, etc., and have made no moves or any indications whatsoever that they're going to be interfering with the development of the mod. Perfect. Best of both worlds. We get a Oblivion remaster that is very, very, very true to the OG game. Very true, to the point where it even replicates some of the more well-known bugs, like being able to have permanently summoned items of equipment, for example. Although there is an ongoing complaint here. The faces. A part of me wants to look at the faces in the remaster and thinking, okay, they made them deliberately ugly as a little bit of an homage to the OG game, which also had some famously awful looking characters, but you know what? The faces look worse now. The faces actually look worse now. Now, a lot of this is going to be shading and light, etc., right? Because Oblivion was a very bright and vibrant game, and the remaster is nowhere near as light and vibrant, but even like his eyes, you can see, are different. Like the brows have been changed a little bit, like the shadows on his chin is different, like his hair. There's all of these things that just makes this a rather blatantly inferior version to this. And even seeing in the game itself, it is very evident that many of the faces are just vile right now, like genuinely disturbingly ugly. The orcs in particular are awful. The Khajiits and the Argonians are a bit of a match of taste. I don't like the Khajiits. I kind of like the Argonians, honestly. I don't mind them over much, but their teeth move when they talk. Like the orcs' teeth like pop up and retract during conversation, which is odd and off-putting. And the Argonian teeth as well kind of move inside of their jaws, like they're wiggling and attached to the jawbone in an unnatural way. The mouths, too, are way too open. All of the characters seem to speak like this. It is not good. The facial animations are bad. Very, very bad, in fact. And it feels like they went out of their way to make them ugly. It feels too deliberate. Like, why would you do this? This isn't so much attempting to replicate the ugly of the old character, as much as it feels like an attempt to create a whole new level of ugly, honestly, which I'm not particularly a fan of. I will also make a complaint that they didn't change enough, in my opinion. Now, the Oblivion remake, because it is in essence a full remake, is a drastic graphical upgrade. Even if the, style and aesthetics of the vibrancy and the lighting, you could certainly argue that has been downgraded, and the faces too, but in terms of texture, in terms of overall graphical fidelity, it is a massive, massive upgrade. So much more than just a remaster. It really is a rebuild of the original game, but I would have preferred if they'd focused more on the combat, honestly. Because the combat feels extremely floaty. There is no sense of weight or like smack when you're hitting something or shooting fireballs or arrows. none of it has any impact at all. It is like you are just wafting a sword into thin air. There's no feedback, there's no satisfying crump as you hit something. Fireballs and destruction, etc. don't really have that effect that you'd expect. I do like some of the new spell effects. It gives you kind of like a little bit of an aura style thing around you. That's nice, but they could have done a lot more with the combat and the feel of the game's, well, biggest part of the game, the fighting stuff, honestly. They should and could have done a lot more with that, no doubt about it. Overall, though, I mean, the game comes with all of the DLC that was in the original game. If you buy the deluxe edition, apparently you get more horse armor, which part of me feels like they're just taking the piss at that point, but hey, some new content, I guess. And if you're going to have a graphical upgrade of this quality, which doesn't quite, in my opinion, make it like a fully modern day looking game, but very close to it, is that worth the asking price? I'd say it depends on the mods. If the Bethesda does indeed keep its hands away from the modding community and allows people to transfer over mods to the remaster, and the remaster does take off as a modding platform, then I would say yes. In that case, it's just going to be an upgraded Oblivion with the mods you used to know and love. That would be the ideal situation. If, however, it remains just the vanilla experience, the asking price is pretty steep for just a graphical upgrade, especially as there are already mods that make Oblivion 2 look a hell of a lot better, without sacrificing that more fairy tale-esque aesthetic of it. But even so, you can't deny that this is a smash hit of epic proportions that is probably going to reach like 250,000 or 500,000 concurrents during the weekend. And, better yet, of course, without any marketing or any lead up whatsoever, all of this drama was just avoided completely. There was no opportunity to build up an anti-movement here over what again was a piss puddle deep change that hasn't affected seemingly anything else in the game. And again, at that point, I'm entirely just shrug. I don't care. If you have basically rewritten the names on this body type here and it affects nothing else in the game, it's 2025, I suppose, and move on with it. But it could have been a very damaging thing to the game had it received a lengthy, drawn-out PR period, especially as, again, bearing in mind the fact that the in-game models feel almost deliberately ugly. I feel like this is something they might have decided to show off, as if to brag about it, body type 1 and body type 2. So I think they made the correct marketing decision here in not marketing it at all, and instead relying on the shock effect of the launch to send ripples through the gaming scene, and then rely on word of mouth to see this already damn impressive number grow even more. So, again, we are but humble side characters, in Todd Howard's words. What more is there to say? Until next time, I've been Arch. Thank you very much for watching, and I do hope to see you all again soon. Till then, have a good day.